Yes, folks, hello, welcome once again to Monster Games and Collectibles. It's time for another action figure review here on the channel. And as you can see on the screen in front of you, today we're taking a closer look at the Fresh Monkey Fiction / Big Bad Workshop Soldiers of Fortune, the Agent / the Enemy. I even think there might even be a reference to the colour of his suit in the length of that title somewhere as well. But anyway, here we are, folks. Stick around. I'm going to give you all the ins and outs, ups and downs that you need to know about the Agent here. So if you've been thinking about picking up this one for yourself, you'll have good, thorough information to make a purchase decision around. Going to kick things off by having a quick look at the packaging on the day it arrived on my doorstep. Although, warning, folks, that might be a bit shaky. The audio's been a bit funny while I was doing a batch of recording at that point. Then we'll get into the figure itself, talk about the aesthetic and visual experience, have a look at the articulation and the posability, have a little rundown of all the accessories and, figure out whether that's added value or not, and then pop him next to some other Fresh Monkey Fiction figures from some of their other lines. And with all that said and done, you should have plenty of information to make a decision as to whether this is the guy you want to crack your wallet or purse open for. So let's get into it, and hopefully let's be jumping back in time to visit past Chris, taking a look at the packaging on the day it arrived on my doorstep. All right, folks, future editing Chris here. The audio was unusable on the original packaging rundown that I did on the day that the Agent arrived, so you're going to have to take a look at the packaging with the Agent absent from the blister on the front. I haven't got a great deal to say anyway, to be fair. It's a bit boring. In fact, I've noticed I've slid the card back on the wrong way around, so let's get that correct. There you go. Yeah, so it's a bit boring. Just got this kind of manila envelope motif with the stamped stuff on it, like the logo, the Agent, the Enemy name on the front there. Obviously, the key sale as bit of peg presence, shelf presence there is the figure and the goodies that you can see in the blister on the front here, but I find it a bit bland, to be honest. On the back, the logo again, Series 1, the cross-promotion of the other figures in the line, bit of flavour text, logos at the bottom, and that's it, really. There's not a great deal else to say about the packaging. It's a figure in a blister pack with a bit of artwork lacking, really, to be fair. All right then, folks, on to the review section of the video now, and let's talk about the aesthetic qualities, the visual experience with the Agent here. And to kick things off, here's a full head-to-toe look of the figure without any further embellishments, just how he came out the packaging. And I suppose if I was to summarise it at the top here, I would say it's essentially a black-haired Max Headroom in a blue suit, And fundamentally, to be frank, it's not really that exciting, is it? It's a guy in a blue suit. Every dude should have a blue suit in their collection. Should have a blue, a grey, and a black. Them's the rules. Maybe a summer colour, like a beige or a tan for the lighter seasons, for your wedding season, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's a guy in sunglasses with a big square jaw, a red tie and a blue suit. I don't mean to underplay it, of course, but that's what it is. And, when they first announced Soldier of Fortune, and we were looking at the digital renders on, I think, a live stream or one of my videos I did some number of months ago, because these are taking a long time to end up in hands. And I also said this when I reviewed the Saboteur. That's what they're there to do. It is supposed to be kind of just big slab of basic, versatile, generic figure that you can use in a variety of circumstances across your 6-inch line. And, this is your dude in a suit. He's definitely chunked together with quite a lot of reuse. So the Operation Monster Force Blackwatch Agent head is here, although they can turn into like these Black Goblin type dudes. The legs, the trouser legs, the suit trouser legs have been used on numerous figures, like the other agents, the General, etc., etc. I think they're using these legs on the Goblin that's about to come up. In fact, the key difference here is that the jacket is buttoned up, whereas I think the other suited guys they've done so far have had unbuttoned jackets. And so he's strung together with quite a bit of reuse. Not that that's a particular issue, to be fair. And that's the same head, as I say. But yeah, it's a dude in a blue suit. I don't know how many more different ways to say it. Moving in a bit closer then. The head sculpt is all right. It's okay. There's something about it, like I say, there's a bit Max Headroomy that looks a little bit uncanny to me, but that might just be the way I'm perceiving it. I'm not sure, but I mean, fundamentally, it's all right. The facial features are well sculpted. He's got this kind of weird little sort of serious yet slight smirky thing going on. Got the shades on there. These are painted on shades. They're not removable sunglasses. The hair's sculpted. It's all right. You can see it's a bit sloppy on mine. Got some black paint spill here. into the ear. If you get right in close and you conduct a very fine detail inspection, you can see around the sunglasses is a little bit untidy, but it's fine. It's all right. Not fully painted around the back of the ear there, for example. So it's a bit loosey-goosey on the paint apps. I just feel like his face is a bit wide, and as I say, a bit uncanny. That's the best word I can use to describe it. But then moving down into the figure, the suit sculpt's pretty nice, to be fair. You can see sort of nice sort of drape, fabric-y sort of textures sculpted in. It's pulled tight here on the suit where the button is done up. The little drapey bits, little folds and creases. Definitely around the elbows as well. You can see here little folds and creases. So that's all nice to see. Just kind of gives it a bit of depth, a bit of personality. You really see it around the back here as well, across this lower section here. As someone who wears a suit regularly for work, I can tell you that my suits do get creased in all these in all these spots for sure. And then coming down into the legs, you can see, he's got his seam at the front there. He's obviously had these dry cleaned and pressed. Little kind of, again, sort of texture drape patterns as it falls over the top of the shoe or up the top here where it tends to bunch up around the groin. And if you hold up the suit there, you can see he's got the belt sculpted underneath, and the tie is a separate sculpted piece on the shirt underneath there. If you were going to start tearing it apart to do kind of custom work. Sorry, folks, a bit out of focus there. So that's fine. Got the sewing seam down the side. And then the shoes, again, the same ones we've seen on the General, for example. Just kind of plain black shoes, basically. Nothing particularly exciting about them, other than they do seem to be a little bit brogy, semi-brogy in design. The colour match is good from the arms to the suit piece over the top to the legs. The suit piece is this kind of rubbery type stuff that they use on these top sections here. And there's been once or twice with Operation Monster Force, Crimson Moon, etc., where the colour tone's slightly different. And it's the same with the skin tone as well. The head, the neck, and the hands all match nicely. And that's kind of it. I don't have really a great deal else to offer. It's a dude in a blue suit. I'm getting so repetitive on this review. He fulfills a certain purpose, doesn't he? If you, I mentioned the saboteur in the context of like a bank robber who you might want your Spider-Man to be dealing with, and he would make a half-decent suited bank teller or a guy in the queue. You might have to, you'd have to do a head swap. You wouldn't imagine your bank teller wearing shades like that, but you get the idea. It just fulfills a certain purpose. Or, your presidential guard type thing, which is very much a part of the image of the figure there. So it fills that purpose well. It's a little underwhelming, to be honest, but it's sort of supposed to be, I think. That's what the Soldier of Fortune's all about. So I think aesthetically, I am gonna give it a thumbs up because it's doing what it set out to do, even though I'm not feeling like super excited about it. The other thing to bear in mind is it's arrived at the same time as loads of other stuff. I've had some Crimson Moon, I've had some G.I. Joe Classified, I've had some other bits and bobs coming in from pre-orders. So it kind of has disappeared into the background, but isn't that the point? In a way. So there you go. Make of that what you will, and offer me your thoughts in the comments down below. But there you go. That's what I've got to say about the aesthetic, the visual experience. Let's now take a look at the articulation and posability, shall we? And just before we get into that, folks, as always, if you've been around these parts before, you'll know to cut to the short of it, it's standard Fresh Monkey Fiction suited guy articulation. So if you've had one in hand before, you'll be very familiar with what this is all about. So avail yourself of the timestamps down below. I've put chapters in. You can jump ahead to the accessories and added value section. However, if this is the first Fresh Monkey Fiction stroke Big Bad Workshop figure you've seen reviewed, or you're interested to know whether there's any quirks attached to this figure for any particular reason, stick around. I'll run you through it and we'll get started up top with the head. And the agent here comes with a ball at the base of the skull, ball at the base of the neck, and a hinge on the neck. So you're down, goes all the way down like that. You're up, using the hinge, can go all the way up there like that. You can move them around on the ball, full 360, exorcist, tilt and swivel. Although you can see the neck is moving at the same time, which can be a bit tricky. Neck swapping on these Fresh Monkey Fiction figures be a right pain in the ass sometimes, but there you go. Going down into the shoulders, there is a butterfly joint under there, I'm pretty sure, giving you some shuffle back and forth. Not too bad. It's a little bit restricted by the cut of the this top piece of the suit there, but as you can see, it's not too bad. And then you've got the peg and hinge for your armpit, giving you a full 360 all the way around, and a T-shape out to there. Got a swivel here at the top of the bicep and tricep. Pinless double elbows that'll get you into there. Pegged in hands at the wrist that can swivel at the wrist point, And then these two grippy hands that are on him out the packet have got forward and back hinges, but there's a couple of different hand swaps in here. Some of them have got up and down hinges as well. Into the torso, there's a little barbell joint here across his pecs, and then a ball joint at the waist. So you've got some movement at the top there and some swivel and whatnot at the waist. The crunch isn't fantastic, but there is a little bit of movement in there. The jacket obviously gets in the way and restricts it somewhat. Coming down into the hips and the groin, I'm pretty sure it's a drop-down joint. I've got some movement there. Then it's balls at the hip side too, so you can come forward like this. Russian ballet is not great though, only out to there. No thigh cut, but there is a bit of swivel on the ball at the top of the leg. Pinless double knee that'll get you up to there. Then you've got an ankle swivel just under the trouser leg line at the bottom there. And then the fairly standard hinge and rocker for the feet. Oh yeah, he articulates fine. The only thing you're kind of missing is the thigh cut really, but you've got that bit of swivel at the top of the hips. God knows what this weird little pose is I'll put him in, but nonetheless, I suppose it's designed to demonstrate the articulation. So yeah, all good on that front. Thumbs up to standard compared to other figures from both their own lines and from kind of contemporaries at this price range. Everything's a-okay there. So there you go. There's the articulation. Let's now take a look at the accessory selection, shall we? And let's get to the first accessory on the list, which I suspect was the one that caught most folks' eyes when this was first announced, and that's the hooded kind of cultist look head swap here. Many of us who collect G.I. Joe Classified have obviously been crying out for a hooded Cobra Commander, the hooded look Cobra Commander for quite some time. They have done hooded figures like this in the Fresh Monkey Fiction lines before. It's the Crimson Moon cultist dude, isn't it, in the red suit that they've done it before. But yeah, they've thrown in the hooded cultist look so that you can head swap him and integrate him into that vibe if you were so inclined. I mean, as far as the sculpt goes, it's nice. You've got the eyes, the paint applications on the eyes and a little bit of eyebrows in the little gap section of the mask, but then you've got this nice kind of flowing drape that comes down over the top of the shoulders there, with a lovely sculpt on it to give it that drape shape, but it's then also got kind of a couple of little seam lines sewn in, so that's all fine and dandy. Obviously you can then avatar that into your G.I. Joe Classified collection as an early Cobra Commander post-pyramid scheme salesman if you were so inclined. What I will say, and I'll show you in a bit, and you probably caught this around and about, I'm very late to get this one shown off on video, but the ball joint on the bottom of Fresh Monkey Fiction figures is a lot larger than the one on, say, your retro card-backed Cobra Commander figure, so it's very loose on the top there. But there's your first item on the agenda, is the hooded head swap. Then the agent comes with a weapons loadout. We've got this kind of small, short kind of assault rifle thing here that we've seen before in the line. This is obviously a Gridiron Studios rifle there. A single piece of molded plastic with the lovely gunmetal dry brush over the top, and the removable magazine as well. Then we've got the little 9mm pistol. Again, single piece of molded plastic. Not quite as... this has not been dry brushed as extensively as the rifle. And then we've got this little kind of ray gun piece here. Again, we've seen this in the line on other figures. I'm pretty sure. I know I've got at least one other from somebody else. So yeah, it's a solid selection of weaponry depending on the type of use. You know, your little kind of important person, VIP bodyguard. You might want to use the 9mm pistol, or if you're using him as like a little kind of suited, I don't know, drug dealer kind of guy, you've got the rifle. If you want to put the hooded head on him and use him as like some kind of supernatural stroke sci-fi cultist dude, then you've got the ray gun. You know, just gives you options there. And these are good solid weapons for sure. And again, as standard with the Fresh Monkey Fiction stuff, you've got some blast effects to go along with those weapons as well. You've got like a couple of little firing effects, like a short, stumpy, more bulbous one, a long, thinner one, and then the post-firing barrel smoke one there. I've got loads of these already. They throw them in pretty much with everything. And again, it just helps you out with your kind of world of imagination, opens up your world of possibilities if you're taking photographs and you want to get them into firing effects. I think the short, stumpier ones for a pistol, whereas the long, thinner ones for the rifle, maybe. Someone let me know. in the comments down below, but the weapons all have dremeled out barrels so that you can fit those in. Then we've got some hand swaps, again pretty standard with the Fresh Monkey Fiction action figure lines, although not quite as expansive. Sometimes you get more hands than this. The agent's a little bit thinner on the ground. We've got 2 weapon holding trigger fingers, 2 closed fists, in addition to the grippy hands that come on the figure itself. One thing I have noticed with these in particular, if you look just kind of at these little bits of detritus on the top of my little action figure recording stage, is that the paint chips is chipping a lot, particularly at the joints, at the joint points. And I've got these little flecks of paint all over the place from swapping the hands out and messing around with them. It's happened with other figures, of course, but it seems to be really bad with this one. And then finally, you've got the Soldiers of Fortune foot stand, which comes as standard again with all the Soldiers of Fortune figures. It's a single piece of plastic with the 2 pegs to fit the peg holes at the bottoms of the feet, with the Soldier of Fortune logo painted over the top there, which is fine. I'm always appreciative of foot stands. I'm not someone who uses foot stands a great deal anyway. And I suppose my feedback would just be the same as I've mentioned with all the other new foot stand designs, is that comparably they're not as elaborate or interesting as the Operation Monster Force foot stands. So if you were integrating your Soldiers of Fortune in amongst those bunch, you'd obviously have an inconsistent kind of foot stand situation going on. But it's not, it's not hugely problematic, just an aesthetic thing, isn't it, in terms of the shelf presence when you're displaying them. So yeah, it's a solid accessory selection for sure. They've obviously tied the stuff together for the different ways you might want to engage with this figure. So you've got a ray gun and a hood, you've got a rifle and a pistol for your more agenty kind of dude. The blast effects, it's all fine. It's a bit pedestrian, I suppose. There's nothing in there other than the hooded head swap that makes you go, woo, gives you that kind of head-turning moment of interest. But again, it's not supposed to, is it? That's the point. I'll go back to what I was saying when I was reviewing the aesthetic qualities of the figure. It's supposed to blend in a bit. It is supposed to be a bit boring and bland. It's supposed to be just a generic, versatile figure. And to that end, they've just given you kind of generic, versatile accessories as well. I think it's less exciting. Some of the other Operation Monster Force stuff and Crimson Moon stuff seems a bit more expansive in terms of what they've thrown in, but it's solid. It's just a big, solid lump of, here's a generic figure for you to use how you see fit. So because of that, and despite my underwhelmed feeling, I'm going to give the accessories a thumbs up as well. But I'm coming down a little bit, sort of half 10. You know what I mean? Because he's kind of got 2 less hands than some of the others, and I don't know, there's just nothing quite with the wow factor, particularly because the hood, as I say, and I'll show you in a minute, has proven not to be a great fit on my Retro Cobra Commander. So there you go. Right, there's the accessories then. Speaking of Retro Cobra Commander, let's now have a look at this next to a couple of other figures from Fresh Monkey Fiction, and maybe a classified or 2. Let me grab what's lying around. All right then, well, to get us started then, let's do the Retro Cobra Commando with the hooded head on him, next to the agent with his maxed headroom head on him. And as you can see, very loose fit, very loose fit. The ball in the bottom, the space there is very, very large. So unless you're a capable customizer and can pad that out somehow without making a total mess of it, like I might, then you sort of have to find your position and then leave him unmoved in that position. And you don't have a lot of great, kind of sideways and stuff because of the, you have to just sort of balance it loosely on the top of the ball there. But it is possible to do. And the blue match isn't too bad from the hood blue to the rest of the body blue there. Here's the agent next to the Marvel Legends blue suit figure. I think that was Martin Freeman's character from Black Panther there, but I popped the Tony Leung head from Shang-Chi on it because I was doing like a hard-boiled kit bash for Tony Leung's character in Hard-Boiled. Hey, any action figure makers out there want to do a facsimile of a kind of Chow Yun-Fat style head? Or if we can get Chow Yun-Fat in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so we get a version of that, I'll be well up for it. So I could finish that little project off. And here he is next to the John Krasinski figure from, is this Ant-Man or Scarlet Witch or something? Another one of these Marvel Legends kind of shirt and tie dudes with these really fucking awful. I can't tell you how much I hate these feet on these suited Marvel Legends. They're really dreadful. Can't even get him to stand up. I'm having to hold him. Here he is next to the General. As you can see, I like the Carl Weathers head sculpt on this guy here. But it's the same legs and feet, as you can see, but a different jacket on the top. Here he is next to his wave mate, the Saboteur, the only other figure from this particular wave that I bothered to pick up. These are the only two I got from this Soldier of Fortune wave. And let's finish up with him next to the Forgotten King. Why not? All right, then, folks. Well, here is the agent going around on the turntable so you can get a nice 360 view of the figure. And while you're eyeballing that, I'll offer up some final thoughts. And I don't know, the tone of the review has probably already communicated this, but I'm just like, yeah, all right. Dude in the blue suit. And you like that little callback to the beginning? It's fine. It's there. It's underwhelming. You know, it's not really a figure I feel like, oh man, got to get this guy kitted out and displayed somewhere. This is a toy box dude that you reach for when you want to head swap one of your villains for a court appearance or something, you know what I mean? Or you've got a VIP, a politician that needs escorting, do you know what I mean? Or a drug dealer who needs some bodyguards, or do you know what I'm saying? And that's the point. It is underwhelming, it is a bit boring, it is a bit pedestrian, it is a bit generic, but it's also really super versatile, and it's a toy box figure for photographers and for people making dioramas. It's not a figure for play or a figure for display. Do you know what I'm saying? At least that's where I'm kind of sitting with it. So am I glad I picked it up? Yeah, I think it's handy to have a kind of standard generic suited dude in the collection. Certainly a lot better than the pile of shit suited dude that I've been using from Marvel Legends up till now. So it's a fine replacement in that respect. Sorry folks, I had to put a little cut in there for a cough. But yeah, what was I saying? It's a fine replacement for those Marvel Legends suited bodies, if for no other reason than the feet it actually fucking stands. Do you know what I mean? Independently. So I'm good with it. I'm glad I picked it up, I think. It's quite pricey, though, to fill that gap in the collection. We'll see what Fresh Monkey Fiction do and what Valaverse do with their generic figure lines. Because I know that they've got some stuff coming down the pipeline. Fresh Monkey Fiction, some more stuff, and Valaverse got some stuff there. But overall, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's solid. I haven't got nothing more to offer than that. So there we go. But obviously offer your thoughts in the comments down below. Always love hearing from you guys. In the meantime, thanks for watching. If you found this useful, helped you make a purchase decision, hit all those YouTube buttons that help a brother out. Otherwise, take it easy. Have yourselves a great day. Have yourselves a great week, and swing back around for another video sometime soon. It'd be my pleasure to have you. All right? Take it easy, folks.